Okay, guys, let's talk about Etsy for a minute, like a real heart to heart here. A lot of you have been talking about quitting Etsy and walking away. And when it comes down to it, I have been really considering the future of my shops. What does the future of my business on the Etsy platform look like? And what are really the best options for my business now? And as I've been talking to many of you and my students, I think it comes down to a few key things. Is Etsy going to turn into the Chinese marketplace? Is it going to become the next AliExpress or the next Temu? A lot of you are genuinely worried about your shops right now because Etsy Payments is showing China as an approved country. Okay, let me tell you something, and this is either going to reassure you or it's going to make you mad because you've already made up your mind. China has never left Etsy. Whether Etsy Payments was set up or not, Chinese sellers have been all over Etsy the entire time. And the only reason I know this is because they are my direct competitors and it's blatantly obvious. So if you look at shops that are in random cities like LA or New York, right, you can see where the product is actually shipping from. Oftentimes it's China. Now let's talk about Etsy fees, because a lot of people think Etsy's fees are so expensive. I am gonna leave the platform. I'm gonna go onto my own website. They've raised the percentage by like 30%, whatever it is. If you're in that boat, let me ask you this. Could you hire a marketing team for your business and spend less than Etsy's fees? Could you afford the time and the money and the resources to learn how to become an expert in Facebook ads and Google ads? Because when I look at Etsy, I really see it as a marketing team. They hire experts. They vet the experts, right? You don't have to train their team. They are doing all of that work for you. The thing is, when you are building a business, the most valuable thing that is going to impact the velocity and the speed of your growth is customer feedback and data. If you try to start on your own website, I can guarantee that it's going to take at least 100 times longer to even get that customer feedback so that you can move your business in the right direction. Etsy is one of the fastest places to build a brand because of how cheap the customer acquisition costs are. And it's also the fastest place where you can get in front of a large audience that is full of profitable customers. And other platforms, they even have higher fees. Now let's talk about something a little bit taboo, and this is the customers on Etsy. I don't know if you guys have noticed a shift here, but I've been on Etsy about 8 years now. I have definitely noticed a change in the types of customers. I am talking about seasonality and times of the year where there might be more external pressures like holidays. And then during times of more hope, whether that be economic hope, you think about election cycles, things like that. But one other thing that I think has impacted Etsy seller behavior is the Amazon Prime business model. This has really trained online consumers to bully a seller. Whether they wore a dress for an event and then they want to return it the day after. How about this one? When a customer orders 2 different items from 2 different shops for their cat's funeral, they ask for both items to be purple. The items both arrive, the shades of purple don't match, and the buyer then decides to file a case against the shop and they get a full refund for that. Some Etsy customers are quite psychotic, but I think that Etsy probably has the most seller-friendly policies when it comes to how you run your business because they allow you to make your own policies. Platforms like Amazon, let's say you're doing FBA, or even if you are doing handmade and you're shipping it yourself, then your policies have to be whatever Amazon's policies are. That means returns, exchanges. I will say that if you fill out your policies correctly and if you create your listings correctly, you at least have a really good chance of Etsy upholding your policies as the seller. Now, the key here is filling everything out appropriately so that Etsy actually does have your back. Now let's talk about fear of shutdowns. Are you worried right now that your shop is going to get shut down? Now, one thing I think is going to help with this significantly is the new cost to set up a shop, to open up a shop. So $15, that fee is actually going to deter a lot of people who might be spam shops. They're just going to open up a ton of shops, take people's money, not ship anything, and cause a lot of problems, which is what Etsy's trying to avoid. I do think accidental shutdowns will be lessened and lessened over time. It can still happen, and I do want you to know that there are workarounds for this. There are always workarounds, and there's certain ways you can do that proactively proactively. So number one is as soon as you open your shop, send a message to Etsy, whether you have chat available or if you can just email them. Let them know, I've opened my shop according to Etsy's policies. Can you confirm that everything looks like it's set up according to your policies on your end? That way, they won't just shut it down. They will give you feedback if they see anything that's misaligned, whether that be you didn't fill out your address correctly, whether it be you're missing like a credit card. If there's anything that is flagged on your account, they could notate that. And the best part is then they reply to you and say, no, you've set up your account correctly, you're in good standing, and that goes on your record. Now, I do this sometimes when I'm creating a listing and I want to put it in the supply category. I'm sending it to them. Can you confirm that yes, it does belong in the supply category? And they say, yes, that is okay. That way, if someone ever reported a listing, they have on their record that listing was approved. You could say, I've set up my shipping settings. Do you see anything that's wrong with the shipping settings? Or, hey, I connected my shop to Printify. Can you see that on your end that I've connected it to Printify? This is a very proactive way to stay in good standing. All of these little confirmations and communications will go into your file, and everyone on Etsy's team will have record of that. So I hope today I have addressed a lot of fears or questions or things that maybe made you think about leaving the Etsy platform. Would I ever quit Etsy? The answer to that is a heck no, because I know how costly and how much time the alternatives would take. And I know when I am looking at scaling a large business, I know exactly where Etsy fits in and what its purpose is in that big picture of scaling your business. I believe Etsy is an essential platform for most e-commerce companies to use to scale their businesses as quickly as possible. It is the best launch pad that I have ever seen, the best springboard for you to get a business off the ground and to move your business in the right direction, the most profitable direction as quickly as possible. I will never be leaving Etsy for that reason. And if you're still on the fence and you're thinking like, I don't know, Dylan, I don't know if this is worth it to me, I would ask you a couple things. Number one is, why did you start your shop in the first place? What is your goal with the platform? Are you looking to make just a little bit of side income, right? A few $100s a month? Or are you looking to build a sizable, consistent, full-time income and to build out a brand that you could eventually have as a sellable asset? Like, you have to have a strong why that is driving you. Are you wanting to stay home with your babies? Are you wanting to save for your kids' education? Invest in properties, or maybe build or buy your dream home? If you're looking for more than just a few $100s a month, I highly recommend using Etsy for what it is best at, and that is launching your business, building your brand in a very strong way as quickly as possible. And I will always be on Etsy because I still have never found a platform that rivals Etsy in terms of the quality of its customer base and in terms of its ability to scale a brand quickly. Etsy has the cheapest traffic on the internet. It's not that difficult to rise to the top on Etsy if you have product market fit and a solid set of strategies. Is there a better option that will get you to your goal in a more reliable way or in a faster way? I would love to hear any thoughts and feedback and conversation in the comments. Myself and my team would love to interact with you there. If you like the video, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
After I joined the program, I gained so much clarity. Dylan is a wealth of knowledge and she shares all of her secrets with you. That coaching aspect of it, you can't get that through reading or watching videos.